Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Schell, Senior Solutions Consultant here at Tealium, and today we're going to talk about how to collect real-time mobile data, even without embedding an SDK. So let's take a look at the use case, real-time mobile activation without an SDK. Imagine you don't want to add another SDK to your app, or say your internal process prevents you from installing third-party SDKs. Instead, your mobile app or backend just forwards those events directly to Tealium through an API call. The marketing team still gets real-time visibility in Tealium, so you can trigger notifications or suppress users from paid ads instantly. And engineering stays in control. No new dependencies, no performance risk, and the data still flows securely through Tealium. And when we talk about real time, we mean it. The goal is sub-second latency from event to activation, even without an SDK. You can also reduce your SDK maintenance and submit fewer app updates. You can also have fewer regression cycles and less risk of conflicts. From a marketing standpoint, immediate audience updates will lead to better targeting and less wasted spend. You can trigger a suppression or loyalty message in the moment as soon as that behavior happens. There are always trade-offs and considerations for any solution. And for this, it really comes down to balancing latency with operational complexity. For some teams, back-end forwarding is ideal, and for others, the SDK or hybrid model makes more sense. This solution provides real-time mobile engagement and activation without SDKs and allows you to maintain app performance, stay in compliance, and have more governance over your tracking. Now, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. So we're going to go through these three options today: using Tealium's API directly, routing through an existing backend service, again, using Tealium's real-time API, or bringing those events into Tealium from your data warehouse. With the direct API integration, the mobile app sends key customer events straight to Tealium using our own secure API. It's the fastest way to track in real time and ideal when you control the mobile code base. Once Tealium receives this data, it flows into EventStream for real-time processing, gets unified with other customer touchpoints in AudienceStream, builds rich customer profiles with ID resolution, and activates instantly across your entire marketing stack: analytics, email, SMS, and advertising, and even your data warehouse. So this option gives you precision and speed and requires a little coordination with the mobile engineering team to instrument the calls correctly. So let me show you how simple this implementation is. Here's actual Swift code for an iOS app, and Android would be similarly straightforward. We can create a network manager class that handles sending API calls from the app. And chances are you already have one of these network manager classes in your app to make API calls anyway. So now all you have to do is use it to send events to Tealium's API. The Tealium API endpoint accepts a post request with your account credentials and event data in JSON format. We support basic and bearer token authentication. So here I have a Tealium tracker class that provides a simple way to make those requests all throughout the app. We have a track event method that accepts data in a dictionary. Then it's as simple as making a post request with that data. When we want to track events and screen views throughout the app, we can call that Tealium tracker.trackEvent method we just looked at, passing in the event or screen name and the associated data. Pretty easy, right? And you can notice what's not happening. No SDK installation, no third-party dependencies, and no additional libraries. Your engineering team has complete control over what data is sent and when. Now let's see this in action. I'm going to interact with our sample mobile app here, and then we can watch the data coming in real time. And this is an easy way for us to validate our implementation using the Tealium trace tool. So we can see that data flowing in on launch, and I'm going to take a look at a product. We'll see that product view coming into EventStream within seconds. And then we'll also see on the left-hand side here, the customer profile being built in real time. I'm going to even filter that make it easier for us to see. All right, so now we did that product view event. Let's add to cart. Great. So we're going to see that event coming through. And I want to make sure that all the data that I've set up with my API implementation is indeed coming through. So I'm going to take a look at this add to cart event. Great. Looks like this is what I need, and I provided all the data that was required by the marketing stakeholders. And we can also see the actions that were triggered as a result of this event. And let's go ahead and finish my purchase. And in Audience Stream, the customer profile will be built in real time. You'll be able to see things like product browsing behavior, likelihood scores, cart status, engagement metrics, and even recommended products. And this is the same power and lightning speed you get with Tealium's SDK, but with a server-side architecture that your engineering team controls. Some organizations prefer routing mobile events through their own infrastructure first. So the second option is to route your mobile events through your own backend. This gives you opportunities to add additional validation or data enrichment, implement your own rate limiting and caching, maintain a single interaction point for all of your data flows. Here, the data flows through your existing backend infrastructure. That might be a Kafka topic, an AWS Kinesis stream, or any internal event pipeline. And then from there, sent to Tealium using that same API from option 1. And now I'll show you what this looks like in the code. And guess what? It is the same, except pointing to a different URL. That is the beauty of our network manager, is the ability to make generic post and GET request and substitute out the URLs as needed. And instead of a Tealium tracker, we have a simple event tracker class that sends the data to our Kafka topic, where those events can be consumed by an HTTP connector that routes the data to Tealium. So let me show you this in action. So up here at the top, I have a simulated backend where I have a Kafka topic set up that's receiving the mobile events from our app. And then I have an HTTP consumer sending those events to Tealium's Collect API. And down here, we have our trace tool and, of course, our sample app. So I'll send real events from the mobile app, and we can watch them flow through our backend system and see them land in Tealium in real time, all without an SDK in the app. So let's get started. So you can see that the launch event and home view are produced on the stream and immediately forwarded to Tealium. And now you can see those events coming through on the trace tool as well, almost too fast for me to even explain it. And so let's do a product view and an add to cart. And again, you can see those events going through the stream, forwarded to Tealium and hitting the trace tool. And now if I proceed to checkout and complete my purchase, the moment this lands in Tealium, we update the audiences in real time and kick off downstream actions. And all of this is done without an SDK. If you want to add or change your destinations, no app release is needed. And so let me send a quick burst just to hammer this home and let you see how Tealium handles those. So you can see all of these are being sent to Tealium within seconds. For enterprises with mature data platforms, you can use your cloud data warehouse as the source. Mobile events land in your Snowflake, Databricks, or BigQuery environment, and Tealium pulls from there to activate. So this approach leverages your existing data infrastructure, ensures data governance and compliance, combines real-time mobile events with historical customer data for even richer personalization. The beauty of Tealium is this flexibility. You choose the architecture that fits your organization's needs. Now let's take a look at how cloud data warehouses fit into this mobile data story. For many teams, the data warehouse is the source of truth. It's where the customer lifetime metrics, AI models, and historical data live. Tealium can directly query and activate that data using our reverse ETL integrations, or you can bring those insights into Audience Stream for activation across any channel. The Snowflake import path has its own compelling advantages, especially when instant speed isn't the main goal. If your business wants to enrich customer profiles with calculated values like lifetime value, churn risk, or propensity scores generated in your warehouse, Snowflake to Tealium is the natural choice. It also shines for historical backfills. For example, when marketing wants to build audiences from months of past in-app behavior. Cloud data warehouses can feed AI-powered activations too. Things like propensity and sentiment scoring or predictive offers applied at scale across any channel. Another key benefit is operational efficiency. Instead of duplicating your pipelines, you're leveraging what already exists, minimizing data movement, streamlining flows, and cutting cloud compute costs. And finally, governance. Using our cloud data warehouse as a data source means your existing compliance, consent, and access controls can carry through to Tealium. Now, this cloud data warehouse option isn't ideal for when you need real-time tracking. That's where the direct API approach would win. But it's the perfect complement when enrichment, backfill, or governed batch delivery is the priority. In fact, you can combine both. Send time-sensitive events directly into Tealium via API for real-time personalization, and stream all your other mobile or historical data from your data warehouse in batch using the cloud data warehouse as a data source. That hybrid model gives you the best of both worlds: instant engagement plus deep enrichment. Let's pause for a second and take a look at the two main paths we see customers take: using an SDK versus using the API. Because, there still are quite a few benefits to using an SDK. The SDK approach gives you a lot of out-of-the-box pre-built modules, integrations, lifecycle tracking, consent management, etc., all handled automatically by Tealium. It's typically faster to get up and running, especially if your team doesn't have deep back-end expertise. And because the SDK can collect data both client-side and server-side, it's very flexible. Plus, since Tealium maintains the SDK, you don't have to worry about keeping up with the platform changes or API updates yourself. The trade-off, of course, is dependency. You're adding code into your app, which means more testing, versioning, and potential latency if you're running multiple SDKs. On the other hand, the API approach gives your development team complete control. There's no Tealium code in your app. Everything is sent server-side through Event Stream, and that means a smaller app footprint, tighter security, and less risk of man-in-the-middle attacks since your data never leaves your server in transit. However, APIs do require more effort. You lose some of the pre-built modules like automatic data collection or lifecycle tracking, and you'll need your engineering resources to handle schema consistency and error handling as your app evolves. So this model tends to be a better fit for teams with strong backend capabilities that want maximum control. And neither approach is inherently better per se. It just depends on your organization's priorities. To summarize what we've covered, Tealium enables real-time mobile data collection with or without using an SDK. You can maintain engineering control while empowering marketing teams. We offer flexible architecture options like the direct API, back-end routing, or cloud data warehouse integration. And regardless of the path you choose, you get the same powerful features: customer profiles, audience segmentation, and ecosystem activation. I've included resources below for technical documentation, implementation guides, and architectural best practices. If you want more details about anything I talked about today, take a look at the resources linked below. Our team is always ready to help design the approach that fits your unique requirements. Thanks for watching.